So this is another spot we're going to use the rocks that we're pulling out of the culvert up the road. There's a cut here and then a flat and then another just raw slope, so we're going to build a little wall and then another slanting one to catch water off of it. It's not really the spot where we can do much of a culvert up here. It's real skinny. And then down here at the base, all along the back of the house, we'll run a French drain, and that will come out and cut across the driveway much deeper than you see. This is just our marks, and come out in a ditch at the back here. So all of this here will actually start drying out, and it'll catch a lot of the water coming down. We're at the base of a mountain here, so there's the before, and we'll show you an after. Further along, that's where it'll run. We're getting the stones I brought out of the culvert now laid down into a little retaining wall. We're taking the dirt back down to the original level before the mountain silted its fines down, and we're putting them back behind the rocks. Shane's over here. We're putting another 30 yards. This isn't wood chips necessarily. This is like playground grade bark. So how to get, there he is next to it. That is a lot of bark, which we'll be putting in zone 1 here to buffer up our previous endeavors. So we've prepared it, pulled out all the weeds, raked up all the dirt. He started to lay it down now, and pretty soon here it will all be sharp and shiny again. We have rocks to protect any of the wood parts of the house, to hold all the bark off, anything that was below grade. And the beds, there's cloth underneath all of here, so there's no weeds coming through. And the fence that came back up after the fire. There you go. How you doing? Hanging out with me on my lunch break. The other one coming under the door there. Peacock! They don't really dig up the dirt. They just wander around and pick bugs and pick grass seeds. And look really cool. You know you're on film? I'm out of here. These are snapdragons and irises and hollyhocks and Brazilian verbenas and taller lavenders and scabiosa and bulbs and all the way up. But this was the main project, was we're doing this inside yard. It's got to get graded down now, and all this stuff's got to get just prettied up. But this was the bulk of it. We raised it up quite a deal. So this is the inside yard. Trying not to jump around too much here. But these are all beds that I built. This is all cloth under here. This is what Shane did. Yeah. With a bunch of other things. There's the wall I'm building back there. So, clean the yard right up again. It dressed it to where we have just, that's all the way down there till we even hit the old, and then just keeps going. So, the older stuff is starting to decompose down here. It'll sit heavier, and the new stuff will just bury that, and the kids and the dog kicking around and everything won't disturb it so much. It'll act more like sand the deeper it is. One footprint shoves a divot, and then the footprint next to it shoves another divot. Hey, buddy boy. He says, what? Don't point that thing at me. Does it shoot? Only pictures, buddy. So here's the extent of the yard. I just wanted to show what Shane was actually doing. He also did this entire interior area under the trampoline, mucked out the entire chicken pen, redressed everything. So anyhow, pretty self-explanatory. This was in shots in other videos on the Dirt Journal on my channel, Quest for Details. And you can see it after the devastation and what it looks like now. This is just kind of layering up and re-going over stuff that we've already done. The decks that were rebuilt, it literally burnt the plastic shutters and gutters off of the house. That's how close it got. It burnt this fence. So, that's that. Hang on here and I'll get you back around to the wall. We got rain coming in, so that's kind of why I'm here in a hurry up. Ran into a lot of rock, big rock. But this is what we've done. We've retained all the way back now using just the native stuff. It staggers in a little bit. There was huge boulders I had to incorporate that had rolled off down here. I don't have the equipment or the space or the time to move them. And then the original old man had put down a bottom layer of stones, which all of this motion had come down, buried over and swamped and gone that way. So we've graded down the flat, like I said earlier. Now you can see I've stacked up. The homeowner had bags and bags of flower seeds that she saved from last year, so we've spread those out here and whatever the peacocks leave behind. So now I am chiseling through areas where parts of the bedrock come through. So this is literally long bar. Luckily it's serpentine, so you can fracture it. It's just not the softest serpentine. But hey, look, there's a wall right next to it. So there's the ditch. Just trying to get the high points out of it and get deep enough to where it's safe and everything. Eventually, you see the other coil there, it will run all the way under the deck and all the way along the house. This project, this is a main slide, and we have little creeks that come down literally over the hill up here and then do a massive flow. It goes between the house. This is the behind the garage area, by the way, where we do a lot of our stock storage. But it goes between the house here and can create a lot of flow out into the bark area. So that's part of the reason why we're trying to take all this. So right here is where we're connecting out almost zero. I got hard rock, and that's why it was never done. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. But it's really steep, so that's a good thing. And this, like I say, is rock, so as we chisel it, it's actually a rock channel, so it's basically like a primitive rock drain in its own. And these boulders, just for scale, I mean, you have my little old hand next to it, and these things are huge. I don't know how to explain ever. Ah, here. This is awesome. What is these? Foot. There's the foot. There's the boulders. I don't know. Anyhow, There's a storm. I really need to quit standing around with the camera. I gotta bring rocks in. This has gotta get finished across to where you see an old wall. We might actually bring it up. Might do top logs on here eventually, so where the road goes flat instead of slanting as it silts, it'll flatten itself out. Back culvert, retention, blah, 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 blah. The vegetation is just coming back after a fire, so we're starting with the earthworks where it got left off back in old yonder day. There you go. We'll walk back out here and get back to work. Just tapers down with the sweep of the driveway here, pinches off. This is all, it's called pineapple weed. It's kind of like a driveway chamomile that grows wild. So it was down here, scooped it up and threw it like a top coat because the rain is coming. And then there's the gravel that's been washed clean, which was just going right down into here. And yep, off we go. Off we go. So here's the line about to go in. It runs all the way up, catches all the water off this hill, cuts down, runs along. Instead of letting it spill out into the driveway, we are using it, it'll come down into this area, and then behind the gardens, there's actually a lower spot that's a bioswale, where the garden is actually higher than the ditch behind it, and the ditch has an end that comes out lower and goes back to the creek because we get such a high amount of water that comes down off of here. But this is a good 2.5 feet higher than the ditch behind it, and it's really flat and wide so it doesn't pool up and cause mosquitoes. But before it can come through all of this and go down, it has to pass through the roots and all of the everything that we applied here. So just finished cutting it through, chipping through the rock up above. I'll show you that. And then we're about to toss it in and finish up some wall, and we'll be done with this little part. These are areas where we're literally having to chip through the rock. So I'm smashing it with the sledgehammer and then coming along with the long bar and chiseling it out, but it will be a rock trench when it's all said and done, which is good. And then the wall that we built, I built, Shane was doing the bark on the other side. It runs out. Yep. Rocks. Slam it with the 10-pound sledge. This is the solid rock right there where the mountain came down. This is how tall it is here and on down. Some of these we just cannot chip. They're just these hardest pieces of anything, so we're having to go around. We want to go down as deep as we can here, but it's at the beginning. So we're just trying to get deep enough penetration, but it is, you have about, what, maybe 2 inches, and then straight down to the rock of it, all the way down through. So, and that's some solid stuff. So, here we are, we're working from this direction, chipping it up, having some success. As long as we go from 0, which is about the 4-inch pipe with a couple of inches of dirt, all the way down to where we're falling over the hill.